Hi, welcome back to the Locker on the Clock for Week 15. Yes, last week we had a little bit of a hiccup in between a couple really good weeks where we went 1-4, but we're still a blistering 62% at 32, 20, and 3 against the spread this year. First, I'd like to get something off my chest with the NBA looming, and obviously we're going to have games starting up on the 25th. Charles Barkley is going to try to lose 100 pounds through Weight Watchers to get back down to, 250. All kinds of things coming up with the new year and with Geno Productions. It's been crazy around here, but I want to tell you guys something. For those of you that are NBA fans, which I used to be a very big fan, Chris Paul has been the big thing and the big question, and David Stern with blocking trades and all kinds of crazy mayhem going on. Chris Paul, you should have stayed in New Orleans. Now, the reason I say that is because New Orleans is a proud franchise that before, when they had Pistol Pete, haven't really had a great franchise there since. Obviously, they haven't had any franchise there since because the Charlottes moved from North Carolina to New Orleans a couple years back, and you guys actually had a good run, had that town, that city in a great mood. I mean, you guys were winning. Why do you want to take that away? Do you realize by going to the Clippers, you're going to a situation where, yes, you will have some talent around you. You're going to have Blake Griffin. That's going to be great. However, you're not going to be the main point guard there. Do you realize that? Or the face of the franchise, or a possible... I mean, everybody goes to the Clippers basically to die. We know that it's going to happen. Blake Griffin will probably be out of there in a couple of years. Who knows? And I'm sure you are only signing a one-year contract. For the general public out there, I think that was a bad move by Chris Paul. But for the general public out there who are having big problems with this, let's go back in history a little bit. Does anybody remember Phi Delta Slam? Yes, when Charles Barkley and Drexler came from Portland and from Philadelphia to go join Hakeem Olajuwon, their old college playmate from the Houston Cougars back in the day. Nobody really said much about that when that dream team formed. Even back as far as 2004 when Karl Malone and Gary Payton went to the Lakers to join Shaq and Kobe. Remember that when Kobe went through all his... banging in Denver kind of thing when he had to go back and forth every other game to a flight for a law conference because he pulled the Roethlisberger out there. Folks, this has been going on in the NBA for a while. The reason it hasn't been as blown up or as big of a thing is, back in the day, the athletes had enough truth and respect for their talent to not put an hour special together for an hour where they basically slapped in the face the city they were supporting and supported them. They weren't having Twitter accounts. They didn't have Facebook. They didn't have any of these things where they could publicize every move. And also, think about this. The players were not calling the shots. The inmates are running the asylums. No pun intended with the way things are today. But, it's a bad thing when you got players dictating to the owners and to the NBA, to the commissioner, where they would like to go and play. And it kind of ruins things for the NBA. And yes, I believe that has ruined it for me as well. Although these big trades and dream teams have been going on for a long time now, as I've just noted, I gave you two prime examples of things that happened in the past. So don't let that alarm you. What should alarm you is the twittering, the public exposure of all these things, and the fact that these players are holding their teams hostage, publicly humiliating and whiplashing them in front of everybody on national TV. Just have your team work the deal out behind the scenes. Don't make a big deal out of it. Don't be tweeting that you want to play with your friends or that you think David Stern is an idiot or you think that the league is this or that. It's not really your opinion. It's the fans and the people's league. That's what you're playing for. Don't forget, you're entertainment. You're not God or above anything else in the great chess game that is sports. With that being said, I've tied up way too much time on that, but I had to get it off my chest. Let's get to the lock around the clock for this week, where I'm going to give you 5 picks, and we are going to go 5-0 this week. That's right, 5-0 this week. Starting with, tonight, Thursday night football, as we have yet another shitty game to watch on Thursday night, where the Jacksonville Jaguars will be taking their non-talent to the city of Atlanta. Now, Atlanta has been playing very well. They have a dramatic running game, which is one thing that the Jaguars can't stop. And if they are smart, Mike Smith, with his situation with his health, wants to play this where he has a comfortable win, he will run Michael Turner the majority of the game. Loosen things up for, Matty Ice to go downfield to Julio Jones, Tony Gonzalez, and hopefully tonight, because I have him in fantasy, Roddy White. And I will see a lot of points pile up in this game. I originally was going to go with the over at 42, thought it was kind of low. But I'm going to go with the Falcons laying the 13.5. I don't see Blaine Gabbert or anybody getting this team going, not even MJD after his performance last week. Don't see him taking that on the road against a very good, solid run defense in Atlanta. Take the Falcons, lay the points, sleep like a baby. On to Saturday night. Speaking of sleeping like a baby, yes, the Dallas Cowboys are going to take a little visit to Tampa where they are laying 7 and the total is 47. In this game, we're looking to go over. Why are we looking to go over? Because I think that Dallas is the better team. I think that Dallas is going to come out on fire. I think that Dallas is going to be able to throw all over and run with Felix Jones now in for the injured DeMarco Murray. How those roles changed around. We'll be able to run roughshod over Tampa Bay as they have let up so many yards. They have yielded at least 150 yards plus to every running back they've played. Felix Jones should be no different. However, the Cowboys are kind of banged up on defense, and we know that Tony Romo loves to get out to a big lead and let teams of lesser value like the Tampa Bay Bucks, who generally perform and put up some points this time of year because they got nothing else to play for. Look for them to come back in this game late. Look for the over in this to go way over the 47 total in this Saturday night. Yet another debacle that nobody will probably watch except for the Cowboy fans out there, hoping that maybe the Hooter girls of Tampa Bay won't step onto the field and distract Tony Romo into losing this game, as they seem to find a very different way to lose every game every week. Look for this game to go well over the 47 total into the 50s. That's the Saturday night lock, Mr. Saturday Night, as they call it. Now, on to Sunday's lock around the clock. Starting at 1 o'clock, we have the Houston Texans taking on the Carolina Panthers, laying 6.5. Houston has been rejuvenated after they went through a catechism of quarterbacks on the way to finding T.J. Yates, who has been very, very good. He's been one of those silent but violent guys. When he gets out there, threw for over 300 yards last week, couple TDs. In a comeback on the road in Cincinnati, who's a very good defensive team and possibly a playoff team and a very tough team nonetheless to try to beat at home, and they did it in dramatic fashion. That tells me that he is a leader in this team. The team believes in him. They have plenty of offensive weapons, even though Andre Johnson probably won't be playing this week. Thank you for that trade, Giordano. But anyway, look for them to run the ball on the Carolina Panthers. Carolina is very susceptible to the run. What does Houston have? Two very good runners in Ben Tate and Arian Foster. Look for them to run roughshod, as I like to say, over this defense. Look for them to tear Carolina up and keep Cam Newton and company off the field. Do I think Cam Newton and them will put up some points? Yes, of course I do. But Houston should well more than cover the 6.5. Look for this game to be a 10-plus point beating down by Houston over Carolina. Take Houston minus the 6. That's my 1 o'clock lock. On to 4 o'clock lock. Yes, it is no longer Tebow time, as they will be home, and they have not played as well at home, although we can't tell because they've gone 7-1 in the last 8 games. But they have yet to play a team. Well, actually, they did play a team like the Pats and the Green Bay Packers, who are very efficient at passing. I look for the Denver Broncos to get gronked this week, as the passing game of the New England Patriots will be way too much for them to handle. Will keep the defense on the field a lot longer and wear them down a lot quicker, which Tim Tebow thrives on, because the only reason he's winning games, people, is the defense of the Broncos. They play, 10 minutes a game? How do they not keep on the field and stay in the game to make that last-minute win when all they do is run the ball? Now, the Patriots should be able to stop the run somewhat during this game. God help him if Tebow starts getting hot passing, because that could be the only thing that screws this up. But look for Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, and most importantly, Bill Belichick, the one coach who will be able to figure out how to stop Tim Tebow and slow this offense down and keep his offense on the field and put up a plethora of points, which they will be able to do with Brady, Gronkowski, Walker. You can see it happening. I see it happening in Denver. It's cold, but that's all right. That's the way the Patriots like it, because Tom Brady has ice in his blood in a game like this. Take the Pats at the 4 o'clock lock, lay the 6.5 points. On to 8 o'clock, and yes, another shitty 8 o'clock game, unless we have, I'm sorry, Bisconti, but it's going to be very shitty. San Diego getting a visit from the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Ravens are laying 2.5 in this game. Baltimore should be able to, in this game, defeat the San Diego Chargers. San Diego really doesn't have anything but a running game. They're not going to be able to run against this defense. Ray Lewis is going to be back and thirsting for a kill or a win, as we like to call it, as comedians call it a kill. Ray Lewis calls it a win. we all know what it all comes down to. Look for San Diego to get killed in this game. San Diego will not be able to handle Ray Rice because there's going to be Rice all over the field. You're going to see a lot of Ray Rice constantly, early and often, and the Chargers have been gashed by good running backs in this league so far to date. Also, Flacco's not going to have to throw a lot, and even if he does, he's got some great weapons, whereas obviously Phil Rivers doesn't have the offensive line to contain the defense of the Ravens, nor does he have the receivers. As we know, Vincent Jackson shows up every other couple games. Most likely this is a game to take off. Malcolm Floyd shows up a couple games a year. This will not be one of them. Look for Ed Reed. Look for the defense of the Baltimore Ravens, who have gone out west and had success in the past to defeat the San Diego Chargers. Lay the 2.5 points. That is my 5 picks. I'm sorry for the long video this week, but I had to get some things out there, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you go 5-0 like we are looking to go this week. And until next week, take it to the book, take it to the bank, and as always, you take it easy.